Hi, and welcome to the first installment of Cooking with Roberto Cerini. This is going to be a series of short segments on how to cook simple and fairly healthy dishes. There'll be maybe some Italian influence, me being Italian, but otherwise, we'll try to cook whatever we can with what we've got, making it easy. Tonight we're just going to cook some simple pasta with red tomato sauce. First thing we need is onion and a knife. Onion. For cooking about 2 people, so I would say half an onion, cut it in half, save that for another time, cut the ends off, peel it, and trying to get the stuff off of here, and we'll cut it. First thing to do though is, before I forget, get some water boiling for your pasta. That way while you get the sauce ready, that's cooking. So, we'll cut it fairly thin. Actually, let's do a quarter of an onion. It's probably better. And being careful not to cut your fingers off. Even though it's red sauce, probably nobody would ever notice it, but the flavor may be a whole lot. We'll get the onion cut up. We'll then get a big pan going here. A little bit of olive oil. Right enough to coat the bottom of it. We'll also get some garlic. 1 clove should be plenty. Try to get everything out. There we go. Mince that one down too. Nothing too complicated. And while we wait for the oil to heat up, we'll get a can of tomatoes. I like to get whole tomatoes, and we'll put it in a Tupperware since we're not going to eat all of it tonight. You can see what the whole tomatoes look like. They're peeled, with their juice in it. Now, it's got enough temperature. And we're also going to make some spaghetti. Or spaghetti. I like to use whole grain. It's healthier, but it's a personal thing. And I like to measure. We have 3 people tonight to feed. I like to do about 80 grams per person, so that's 8 times 3, 24. So about 240 grams, but that's about a half a box. So you don't really need to measure, but I am going to just because I think it's easier for me since I don't have a box. I got everything in one container. So there we go. Now, obviously I'm fat, so maybe a little bit more or anything. And with our pasta water boiling, let's see here. Let me put the onion and the garlic in there to start cooking. About medium heat. Get a little salt, and I like to use coarse salt, kosher salt. It's easier when your hands get all wet while you're cooking it, so it doesn't stick to your hands. There we go. And now we'll put the pasta in. We'll get this up for boiling. What we should do for the next segment, I think, we're going to do some bruschetta. That's some bread sliced in the oven under the broiler with some garlic and olive oil and tomatoes on top of it. So, while we're waiting for it to boil, what I do is I take the tomatoes and I squeeze them in there. The only thing you got to be careful is that they're full of liquid, so you'll probably be wearing this. So, just got to be a little careful. And we get it in there. 1, Sometimes I'll put it in a blender. That way you get kind of a sauce, really nice sauce. But if you don't have a blender, you can do that like this. Works just fine. I'll put, it's one of those big cans. It's about a pound and 12 ounces. I'm probably going to put about half of it in here. About that much. And I'm going to put some of the juice that was in there. Adds a little bit of liquid to it. Water is boiling. I think this pasta takes about 10 minutes. I like to cook it al dente, which means not glue. Stays a little firm to the bite. I think it's good that way. We'll go ahead and put it in here. Timer set 10 minutes. If you don't have a timer, you can use a watch. I use a timer just because if I don't set it, I'll forget. Here we have boiling or simmering. I'm not a cook, so I don't know the correct terms, but that's the whole point about these segments, is they're cooking for people who are not cooks. Now, one of the reasons why I'm using a big skillet for the sauce is because one of the things a lot of people forget to do is once you're done with your pasta, you don't put it in a container and put the sauce on top of it. You put it in the sauce in the skillet and you cook them together for about a minute or two. That really is called saltare, which means jump in Italian, but it's what kind of gives it that, I don't know, you get the sauce and the pasta all blended together well, and it just adds to the flavor. That's also why I like to go al dente with the pasta. I don't want to cook it too much, because once I put it in here, it'll cook a little bit longer, and you really don't want mush. Hey, why don't we do this? Let's just make the bruschetta tonight. We've got time. Turn on the broiler on low. You bought some bread, pre-sliced. You use baguette. Slice it yourself, either way. Any old cookie sheet will work. I think I'll put down probably about, these go very fast, so I think to make more than I think we should be eating, because they go anyway because people love them. The nice thing about using the broiler is that you don't have to wait for the oven to heat up. The bad thing about using the broiler is that you can burn them easy. So you got to be quick. I mean, not quick, but you got to keep an eye on it. And you got to get it ready to come out as soon as possible. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it.